ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Back for part two. Drizzy Drake in the building, Locked On Seminoles host. And of course, we got to give you that basketball talk. We're going to talk men's and women's hoop games to watch, some conference play to start for the women. But more importantly, the men are gearing up for a good Saturday slate of games. Want you to be locked and loaded for that. Today's episode is brought to you by NetSuite. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth. Head to netsuite.com/lockedonncaa for special end-of-year financing on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. All right, Drizzy Drake, thanks for coming back, part two. Basketball, so far, so good. Drizzy Drake, how you feeling about the hoops so far?
I'm so sad, man. I was talking so much coming into the year about basketball. And now, I mean, I will say, I think now the tables have turned. I think our basketball team is sort of, not performing expectations. Now football's starting to catch up, so maybe that's what it is. But okay, no los dos. Why can't I have both, man? Because
Do you
No,
feel
go ahead.
like it's a sense of, because the new blood energy, you just thought it would keep rolling? Did you have too much confidence in Leonard Hamilton? Like, what we got going on?
No, I think we all have the right confidence in Leonard Hamilton. Coach
yeah.
Ham is the GOAT.
Fair,
I love Coach
fair.
Ham. That's the man.
Yeah.
He's the man. No, I think it's more that being realistic now, being serious. It's more that we do have the new blood energy, but we don't have a player that, is like a top 10 player. I mean, we had Scotty Barnes last year, the year before we had Patrick Williams, and we had a strong, stable core of players that have been playing together for so long. And this year, I always forget, this team is extremely young, with a Matthew Cleveland, with a Jalen Warley. And then we have Caleb Mills, who was our starting point guard. We haven't had a true point guard in 2 years. And the fact that we're still playing with him and gelling with him, that's the issue. Although I will say one thing that does, give me concern is our shooting is absolutely dreadful. I feel like I'm watching Dion Waiters where, hey, I'll take 39 shots. I won't stop. If I'm 2 for 39, it just shows I didn't stop shooting. Nah, man, just please stop shooting. Because if you saw with Syracuse, we were 4 of 30 from 3.
Yeah. Listen, I think at the end of the day, as long as you progress a little bit better, none of this matters. We just got to focus on the tournament. I honestly think that's where the state of the conference is.
Mhm.
Like, nobody cares for real. It's Duke and everybody else. Who can take down Duke? That's where I feel like we're all at.
Yeah, I can agree with that because if you look actually at ESPN stats, 3 of the top 5 scorers, they're all from Duke. And
Yeah.
right now, like, I'm kind of miserable. Oh, it's just Duke's, last year's like farewell tour. Nah, this is like a monster tour. This is like when Daft Punk had their last tour, U2 was going around and everything, like where everyone was showing out and coming up. And it's, to me, like they're just a monster. And with Wendell Moore and Paolo Banchero, like that to me is a team that, you're right, it is Duke versus everybody else. Now, it's early in the year,
It
so
is.
I tell people, not to panic. I kinda wait till, like, January-ish, like, end of January, early February to be like, "Okay, we'll know who this team really is."
You mess around and blink, it's January.
Yeah, because I'm about to say we're 2, 3 weeks out from the new year. So, but we'll see, but I'm not using the panic button, but I think a cautionary concern, I think, is the right way to describe my feelings and the feelings of my co-host Dave over there at Locked On Seminoles, so.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Wednesday we saw Miami take on Lipscomb, and they were easily victory. Virginia Tech finally got things together as they've been having a bit of a slump right now, but they beat Cornell. We are recording at the time where Bethune-Cookman plays NC State, but I feel like it'll be a good one for the Wolfpack, as well as Colgate playing Pittsburgh. And I will say it's Pittsburgh, but you never know with that team either. That's one of those teams.
Colgate's kinda decent, though.
They're 4-5.
They're 4-5, and
Pitt's
also
2-6.
they have super seniors from with the COVID extra year too. That's an old senior squad team. So in Pittsburgh is not good.
That's why I said it ain't a gimme.
Exactly.
I'm gonna root for the, but it ain't a gimme. Pitt's just like, I had this conversation with JJ Jackson just about Coach Capel and the fact that, man, what if you had just stuck around and been an assistant a little bit longer at Duke? Would you have been in contention for the head coaching job? I wonder. Or were you so hell-bent on being a head coach that you were like, I got to get my shine now? And now look at you. You look crazy.
Yeah, because you do hear a lot about that, where I think the best example of that, where, you're kind of being groomed as the heir apparent to take over that. And I think there's no better example than Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels is the OC for the New England Patriots, but he was also that. And then he bolted for the Broncos job, where he, had Tim Tebow for a year and a half. Then John Lynch fired him, and he kind of came crawling back to Bill Belichick. So it's kind of like it worked out from the end, but sometimes you kind of have to swallow your pride a little bit. And
And didn't
patience
he
is a
look at the
virtue.
Colts? Was he in the running for the Colts job too, or that made that up?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
like he
okay.
was running for the Colts job too. But like, if we're being completely honest, like Josh, you had Tom Brady with Randy Moss. You really think you're that sweet? Come on, man. Like you got like I understand,
So he
betting on
needed to
yourself.
humble himself. This is a complete aside, but whatever. He needed to
Oh
humble
yeah,
himself?
I
Okay.
think
Do
he
you
needed to
think
humble
he's the
himself.
heir is he the heir apparent? Is he after Belichick? Is he next in line?
100%. I think it should be him.
It's gonna be Belichick's, Mohawk son.
The son? Nah, that dude's an interesting character. That'd be hilarious if that was the case.
Oh my god, I'm freaking weak. No, I think if anybody has the hair of the NFL, it definitely would go to him. That is complete aside of what we're talking about here. We're talking about the fact that again, Capel probably had the opportunity if he had stuck around a little bit longer. Now he's got egg on his face and he's trying to figure out how to really put this team in some sort of order. But I'm curious to see if it doesn't work out and he has to go. Would you ever see yourself going back to a program that you left? Be an
Yeah,
assistant again? Because we know Shire is definitely going to be the next head coach.
I wouldn't. I mean, listen, like,
Why would no,
just get
Drake, what?
listen, like, well, he left, right, to be a head coach. There's nothing wrong with going back and being like sometimes, you gotta go back and we see it all the time right now in college football where we see,
Mm,
former head coaches, go being analysts. I mean, Will Muschamp was fired from South Carolina. I mean, granted, he does get that sweet buyout money, but then you go be an analyst with Kirby Smart, you learn a little bit more. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm just saying I'm not gonna be there for 10 to 15 years waiting for my next shot, but I don't, I guess I won't put pride in the way of me, trying to better myself and learning from my mistakes. That's kinda like where I'm coming from with that.
yeah. Oh, we love to see a humble man now. I appreciate that. Friday, we also have Louisville playing DePaul. Another big win, but DePaul sitting at 7-1, Louisville sitting at 6-2. Again, we had talked about Chris Mack on our part one show, and I feel like he's doing a lot for that squad. That big Louisville NC State game still comes to mind and how they were able to come back and beat the Wolfpack, despite the fact that all the energy was swinging towards Pack's way. And I think that speaks to like who Mack is, who this team is trying to be. There's someone that, I mean, we don't talk about often, but he's definitely still made them very much a contender in this conference.
I completely agree. And one of the things that I know I gave them a little bit of, trash talking line last week episode, but sneakily, if you look at advanced metrics, they're the 35th best team in the country. I use Bar Torvik whenever I do all sort of my sort of gambling props and everything else with basketball. So with that to me is like really interesting. But one thing that I will say that they need to to fix a little bit is their turnovers. Did you
Mhm.
know that they lead the entire conference in turnover rate?
Wouldn't surprise me. But I mean, honestly, in the beginning of the season, who doesn't get a turnover every now and again?
No, that's fair, but you're right though. I mean that
But it's
they have
terrible.
no, it is terrible. I mean they have
Is
wins.
Carolina second?
Is Carolina second? I think Carolina's third.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, yeah, your top 3 out of 4 team. Oh, no, I don't know, but and all
Oh no. Listen, I was like, yep, they had to be. They can't be too far behind. Trust me.
nah, but in all seriousness, though, I think that Chris Mack is probably one of the better coaches probably in our conference, in our entire league, so I think it's very nice to see how tough this Louisville team is because as much, as I say that, we beat them all the time, they always give me a nightmare and a scare every damn time we play them, so they always play to the final whistle, so to me with Louisville, they might finish, up near the top, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make a decentish run over tournament time, even though I did say earlier, don't start panicking, don't, overselling teams early. I kinda like this making this Louisville team.
Well, there we go. Let's look at our best bets in our weekend games and our slates. I want to hear kind of your thought process when it comes to betting for basketball because we know we're in a new gear now. We've been talking about football bets all season, but I would love to know how you get down, Drizzy Drake, when it comes to that. So let's talk for a minute, though, about kicking things up a notch for the big game, the grand stage, the Super Bowl 56 at SoFi Stadium is less than 100 days away and on location is the official hospitality partner of the NFL is the only place to score a once in a lifetime Super Bowl ticket and experience package to the big game. Select your exact dates, select your exact seats, and choose from elite experiences featuring an exclusive pregame celebration with college stars, turned NFL legends, and more than you can truly ask for. Accommodations at a 5-star LA hotel and food by the great Wolfgang Puck. Visit on location exp.com/SB56 for more information. This is it, the putt to win it. If you sink it, the championship is yours. But on your backswing, your hat falls over your eyes. Is this how you're running your business? Poor visibility because you're still relying on spreadsheets and outdated finance software can lead to piss poor decisions. To see the full picture, you need to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle. Over 20,000 businesses already use NetSuite. And right now, through the end of the year, NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program to those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/locked on NCAA. Drizzy Drake in the building, Locked on Seminoles host part 2 episode of this long week. Tyler Aki is on vacation. We will see him next week to talk more college hoops. Let's gear ourselves up for some betting going to weekend. Syracuse is taking on Georgetown. All right. And I just want to know, before we get into the rest of them, how you bet on teams when it comes to basketball. Because is it different than football? Are there certain things you look at that you wouldn't necessarily for the other sport?
For me, it is very, very different because I never know, like I said at the beginning of the episode, I never know what a team really, really is till January. So it's actually a lot more difficult for me to kind of gauge what a team is until that time. And then with football, you can kind of know what a team's going to be going into the year, seeing from what they had last year. And also, you kind of see with basketball, a team can be drastically different too because they lose one player. Like, to me, because they have the one and done issue.
Yeah.
With football, you kinda have, like, okay, they're gonna be not as good, but it won't be such as steep of a drop off unless, you have a Joe Burrow leaving LSU, and then I know we're just dropping an egg at Mississippi State. So, for me personally, I look a lot more. I know people, hate, advanced metrics, but I think for basketball, especially with, tempo adjustments like that, I think it helps out immensely with that. And also just for me, it's just watching the games, and because that's something I need to watch how the team plays, how fast they are, and also like how teams are hot, because I think there's one sport where, similar to baseball, if someone's like on a really, really hot streak where it comes to shooting, comes to playing, I will ride that team until they're just done. That's similar
Yeah.
to baseball.
I also think it's interesting, though, how a team can come off a really long night. So if they have 4 overtimes, I'm like, yeah, they're
Yep.
probably not putting up a lot tonight, right? If you look at even NBA scores, they're always high flying, and then they're like, we're in their 3rd overtime. Yeah, they're probably going to play like crap in this next bad boy,
Yep.
right?
That too, because the turnaround for basketball is a lot quicker than, say, a football game, because they
Yeah.
might be playing those triple, quadruple overtime. I forgot. I think it was the Lakers game. I forget they lost to the Kings where they had quadruple
Mhm.
overtime, and then the
Mhm.
next game they lost by like 60 points. Like, to me, that's like the perfect example of, oh yeah, they're tired, they're gassed, they got no energy for this game right now, so just chalk it up.
Yeah, no doubt. And I agree in terms of like basketball, just trust issues because you never know what you're going to get, especially with college kids on any given night. Probably had a long exam in December and he couldn't focus, and now he's having to play some big games. So this December route is just some easy, good wins that they can pick up. So let's talk Syracuse, Georgetown. Syracuse coming in 5-4. They're bouncing back off of a recent loss, and now they're trying to find their way. Be on Fox on Saturday at 12. And then you have Drake and Clemson. So those first two, the holiday hoops giving. Okay, here it is. The holiday hoops giving. That's what we got over here. We got some other hoops givings going on. But I think Clemson is one of those. We'll see what it comes to in a conference play. But Syracuse, I had some real confidence after that Indiana win. And now I'm sitting here like, damn, that Villanova one got me a little bit. Okay. This team definitely can have some dumps going into the season.
No, I can agree with that too. And watching them against FSU, I was like, this team we shouldn't be losing to. As I said, like FSU was 4 of 30 from 3. Syracuse was 9 of 30. To
Yeah.
me, that's, but like typically you want, to shoot for at least 40% from 3-point range. And the fact that our defense was very good, but our offense was nothing, to me just shows that, one, we were a very young team, but also with Syracuse, that they don't have, I think, the manpower to kind of close out games and kind of be dominant from start to finish,
Yeah.
which is just kind of like they held us off. But that's not going to happen every single year, especially every single game going through the rest of the year, especially when teams kind of, find their identity and mold together. So, I mean, Georgetown, it's not a gimme. I think they're going to win this game by maybe 5 points. And I don't know the line as of right now. Give me 1 second.
Holiday hoops giving, playing with your daddy. That's so. I just an aside while he's finding this. I can never imagine playing for
I
my
don't even,
dad like in a collegiate game. Never. I
I
love my
don't
dad.
even have, oh, I don't even have it though. So right now,
I
but
don't have one. I'm
uh,
like, you don't have one? We can talk
no,
about
no,
this.
no. I was talking about the line too, but no, actually, they
We
don't have the
can
line.
talk about this offline.
No, but they don't have the line out for Syracuse right now on
Okay.
BetOnline.ag, but I think that they maybe win this game by 4 points. So if you can get, -4 and below, maybe -4.5, I would take Syracuse against Georgetown.
No doubt. Boston College plays St. Louis, and Kentucky will play Notre Dame. Good game. LSU will play Georgetown. Boston College has sneakily been a good team. As much as people have hated on Boston College and how awful they were last year because they were damn near JV, pretty sure because of COVID, they had to bring some JV people up. Coach Grant has done some good things with the squad. The fact that they're even above 500, everybody ain't able. Everybody can't say that. I feel like they're having fun.
Listen, when the goal is to protect the nut, trust me, you're gonna best believe that team's gonna be out
Oh
there and
my
about.
God.
That is the funniest thing, but when you get a fan base like that behind your team, especially when, when you kinda you don't have the sort of big, dire fan base actually with your basketball program, that kinda brings a lot out of you, and it is interesting because they have been they're 6-3, they're 1-0 in conference play so far, they started off the year well. It's better than I can say for my team right now, and if, quite frankly, they're playing good basketball. So, why not, ride with them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I told AJ Black, why couldn't you say protect the chest? That's all I want to know. It just doesn't hit as hard.
No, it doesn't. Protect the nut is one, hilarious, and two, that'd be a great T-shirt. And it goes with Chestnut Hill. Come on, protect the chestnut. This the entire time?
Yeah, just bird. Yeah, okay, yeah.
We'll
I
get this
don't need.
visual.
For those of us watching on YouTube, it's quite the visual. Okay, Kentucky and Notre Dame. Notre Dame's having an interesting year right now, 3-4 on the season, and of course, Coach Bray is a staple in this conference. But definitely, they have a couple good stars, and they're trying to figure things out. But this is going to be a good first big test for them as they roll through this season.
I think it's gonna be a good close game. If we're being
Yeah.
completely honest, I think with Kentucky, I think they'll find a little bit. They started off with the loss of Duke and everything else, but still Kentucky with Coach Calipari and everything else. And with Notre Dame, I want to see them kind of respond from that Boston College loss. And I think this is definitely something that they kind of find themselves in a bounce back. And I wouldn't be surprised honestly if they win this game outright.
I think Lazuski is one of those guys where he always gave Carolina trouble for me watching him last season. But you're right. I think he has to get hot. He has to be consistent. He has to be that leader that Coach Bray needs him to be, and definitely have that energy to bounce back and kind of get yourself on the right track to having a much better season. Georgia Tech playing LSU. Georgia Tech coming off a loss against UNC. They were figuring themselves out. And of course, it was a great game until it wasn't for Georgia Tech, right? Of course, you never want to lose at home. And now you're trying to figure out how to be an 8-0 LSU squad. And I think it's going to be a good test for them as well, Coach Pastner and company.
Yeah, I think Michael DeVoe actually leads the entire conference in scoring. I think that's actually something I was like, that was a name I did not think of, coming into the year that we would be talking about as, a leading conference scorer. Problem is with Pastner, I don't think he's able to, because last year that team kind of felt just not Cinderella-esque, but kind of magical, right?
Oh,
And it was kind of built off, the prime. To me, he's kind of the mini Fred VanVleet. What's his name? Jose Alvarado. Yeah, to me, that he reminded me a lot of the kind of tenacity, the kind of the angry way he played. And I don't really feel that GT kind of has that coming in. And they played LSU, who is a very sneaky good team. So if we're being, the top 13 is not sneaky, but to me, that's a borderline top 10, maybe top 5 type of team right there. So to me, I wouldn't be surprised if LSU kind of beats them by 12 to 15 points.
Take a shot every time we say sneaky on this show. SC Upstate plays Wake Forest, a Wake Forest team. Coach Forbes, man, I tell you, he is just a ball of good energy. I'm rooting for the guy. I'm rooting for the squad. I feel good about this. And I feel like if they could keep rolling, maybe a couple more wins on the book, they have to start squeaking in the top 30, the top maybe 25. Why not?
They're 8-1. Granted, their schedule has been, what's their best win so far?
It's a little bit cooked, but they're used to that in Wake Forest.
Hey, I guess it's something from the football program. I'm joking. But they do have, their next big test isn't until Boston College. And
Sure.
if you want to call it a big test, but for
Sure.
me, they're 8-1, started off really, really hot, which is good. I'm not gonna say sneaky because I just got exposed by my co-host over here, but they've definitely been playing sound and fundamental basketball where they're not making a lot of mistakes. And that's something that right now, early in the year, you want to be able to, kind of hold on to that and make sure that doesn't bleed over into the new year, into January. So I think the coach has done a great job, starting off very, very strong.
Last year, I think that youth was not on their side. They were figuring things out, and you talk about those mistakes. They've minimized those, and now they have a year under their belt, figuring things out. They don't have extreme COVID, because we're not going to say COVID is done. They don't have extreme COVID in their way, and so hopefully they can get things right. Then you got Elon playing UNC. Oh man, Carolina, they're feeling good about themselves. I'm trying to feel good about them too, right? I think the Georgia Tech win was great. The Michigan win was great. I'm trying to just keep the positivity rolling.
No, it's good, and you're gonna build off the, Michigan win with the playing against the mighty Elon and mighty Furman, and then you got UCLA actually after that with, Johnny Juzang, and I forgot what the other kid's name, the, little Latino
Oh,
kid, I'm
I
trying
would
to
know
remember
it
his
if you didn't say that.
man, it's gonna bug me, but yeah, I mean, that's gonna be a big test in the coming few weeks, but I do think you guys have
Caleb. Oh, not Caleb. Sorry.
no, not Caleb, I'm trying to remember his name too. Folks, this is a great, great podcast name, by the way, and great YouTuber. But, as you can tell, we've been doing this for over an hour. But no, I mean, like, you guys have, found some we know Caleb Love and Armando Bacot and RJ Davis who playing, very, very well. And to me, that's something that I mean, beating Michigan is no joke. I mean, Michigan is a very well-coached team. They're a very great team. So as long as you're able to build off of that and beat up, teams like you're supposed to with Elon and Furman and heading into UCLA, I definitely think see exciting things coming your guys' way.
Are you thinking about Jamie Jaquez?
Yes.
Campbell. Okay, there
Jaime
it is, Jamie.
Jaquez. Jaime
Jaime.
Jaime. Okay. Jaime Jaquez.
Jaime
Jaquez.
Jaquez. Is
Jaquez.
that really how you pronounce it?
Ya tú sabes. I mean, that's literally what I heard on, on the TV when I'm watching, the tournament last year. Also as a Latino, that's kinda how I would pronounce it. So hopefully, hey,
Jaime Jaquez.
Jaime, if you
Jaime?
Jaime, yeah, Jaime.
Jaime?
Jaime.
We are definitely on hour 50, okay? Jaime Jaquez. Ya tú sabes. Okay. All right,
That
people.
was
The
good.
holiday season, grab the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. All right. Make sure you get this Built Bar, delicious and healthy. You the best of both worlds, truly. Double chocolate cookies and cream, so many flavors. Built Bar gives you that extra fuel. People are so passionate about their favorite flavor. Tell Santa to throw a few Built Bars in your stocking. Dip your Built Bar into a piping hot cup of cocoa or sit by that fire and just really reminisce on a great 2021. Like some of the marshmallow we treats around the holidays, well, then we've got something good for you. Built Bar Puffs. They are light, fluffy, and they're marshmallowy through and through. Different flavors, all again covered in chocolate. Go to built.com. Use promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order. Wrapping up the show here with Drizzy Drake. Thank you for spending the part 2 with me, getting all of this out here. And let's go to
Anytime.
Sunday real quick before we have to wrap up the show. Of course, my notes are not in front of me because that's just the way we roll here. Sunday, you got Miami and Fordham, South Carolina, Florida State, NC State playing number 1 Purdue. Don't sleep, okay? In the Basketball Hall of Fame Invitational. Virginia Tech playing Dayton, and Monmouth playing Pittsburgh. Best one, obviously, on Sunday would be NC State and Purdue. I'm not saying there's going to be, I won't say that there's no chance because there's always a chance while you play the game. But it would be great to see NC State. Well, what I've seen so far this season is they've got heart. Like, you can't knock them for having heart, right? They're always trying to be in games. Can they, make it something? Or is it going to be a complete blowout?
As someone that watched Purdue, absolutely. I mean, I'm not gonna surprise you. I was proud of us for losing by only 25 points.
Okay.
Mainly
Okay.
because that Purdue team, I know it's sad. That Purdue team is just built different. I think coming into the year, that was maybe a Final Four team coming in. This year, they've kind of showed everything with Jaden Ivey and that kid. I think is like 7'1,000", maybe 7'9". Zach Edey, the big kid, like who plays around. Like I'm like, he's got some Dirk to him the way he shoots and the way he actually moves
Mhm.
around his body. So to me, with Purdue, that's a complete team. And NC State, I mean, no disrespect to them. I mean, they might lose this game by maybe 14, 15 points because I think that Purdue team is really good. And it's not because NC State's a bad team.
Oh, yeah. No,
It's
no,
it's
no
it's
tea,
not
no
at all.
shade. Yeah.
I think what you said is actually like they will fight tooth and nail to the final buzzer, and they will outwork you, which is a
Yeah.
testament to how good the coaching staff is and how good those players are. It's
That's
just
very true.
Purdue is like the literal monsters playing the first half against the Toon Squad in that movie, Saints Space Jam. That's
Coach
literally what they
Keith,
are.
Coach Keith's gonna have to give them some moral victory ice cream for that one. All right, switching gears a bit, talking about the women. We know that Friday we have a little ACC action. NC State will play Pittsburgh. We know that NC State is trying to be back on top, be in the top 5 of the conversation. Currently sitting number 2 in the country. They're trying to be number 1. Got to take down South Carolina, right? Got to stay in the mix with the UConns of the world and the Louisvilles of the world. They certainly can do so. Syracuse will play Clemson. Boston College will play New Hampshire. Sunday we'll have Kentucky and Louisville. I think that'll probably be the best game of the weekend for the women. NC State again will take on St. Mary's. Notre Dame gets Purdue FW, and UNC, quiet as it's kept, is having a great season. Will play UNC Asheville, and Furman will play Georgia Tech, another great team. So I think what people sleep on is how good or strong we have in the ACC. Some really quality programs. Oh, sorry, FSU playing Florida. So I think that's what people normally look over when it comes to our women's programs is how much depth we have in this bad boy.
Not only the depth, I think you can also point out to some of the coaching staffs too, as well. I think last year, for those of you that don't know, FSU's women's basketball coach is Sue Semrau, and she actually took the year off, took care of her mother with cancer, and actually she donated her entire salary for that year, deferred it, and actually gave it to the athletic department. She came back this year, and actually FSU, I think right now, I think we're 9th in the Atlantic, so it's not a great start, but that's definitely a team to watch out for, moving into the tournament time because they're always sound. It's always like, a 7th or 8th, seeded team. And we're someone also like NC State, before we discussed that they fight tooth and nail and aggressive and they will outwork you. So, and I will also tell you, this is a Florida State game there. That rivalry is a lot. It means a lot to people. And people say, Miami's for the boosters. Florida, that game against Florida, that game's personal.
Yeah, no doubt. Again, number 7, Louisville will be taking on number 14, Kentucky. That'll be on Sunday. Make sure you circle that one on the calendar. It'll be the Jimmy V Women's Classic. We know how we all love Jimmy V and supporting that cause over here in the ACC. But the 8-0 North Carolina team taking on UNC Asheville. Another way to keep the cause of the Tar Heel women needing to be in the top 25. I'm not sure why we're still missing out on that, but that's all tea and shade towards people who vote. But here we are. All that to say, we've got a lot of good hoops coming up. I'm excited about January because I think that, like you said, that's when the mix starts happening. That's when people start figuring out who they are. And that's when teams start having that, okay, we're progressing and we're digressing. We're just going to regress and we're just going to try again next year.
No, I know. And that's also basically when you get into the heat, the heart of conference play. Right now you're seeing, example, we opened up with Penn and then we played the random, classic with Missouri and then Loyola Marymount and Boston University, even though we had to squeak out go into OT against Boston University, which I will not discuss any further than that. But you see the identity of the team actually take shape in January because that's the final push to kind of show the experts and show all the Ken Palm and everything, the selection committee where how you want to go into tournament time. And that's also when teams starting to, they don't get too hot. They get hot enough, to start, go get ready for conference play, for conference tournament. And then once that's done, March is right there in a blink of an eye. So it's going to be very fun to watch, our teams grow each and every single day.
No doubt. Drizzy Drake, please remind these folks of where they can find you, follow your work.
You can follow me at Tally__Drake on Twitter. You can follow my co-host at MaxMoody17. Also on Twitter, you can follow the podcast, on Apple, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast from. We're also on YouTube, so you can see my ugly face there each and every single day when we drop new content. We're actually doing a bowl pick'em episode actually coming for the next week where we pick all the bowl games based on, what uniforms look good, which quarterback we like better, has a better name, and also which mascot, is better. So as always, we're fans first, people second, and podcasters third. And thanks for having me.
Drizzy Drake, I want someone to love me the same way you love and support Max. Man, I'm telling you what, you get Max a shot at any chance. You get now. I want someone to love me the way you love and support your homie, okay? Everyone, take note.
That's
that's dog.
Yeah, that's about what? 9 to 10 years of love right there. I mean, that's the frat life too. Trust me, man. I love the kid.
I feel it. Make sure you guys listen at Locked On ACC on Twitter, where we drop all of our uploads for the video. You can subscribe on YouTube. Thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. You can always subscribe to the podcast from anywhere you listen to podcasts. Leave a review. Leave 5 stars because lately y'all been a little bit shady, and that's okay. I need y'all to leave some stars. I need y'all to upgrade your stars, and that's all right. We're going to talk about it.
I'll find you too. I'm just kidding, folks.
I will hunt you down. No, I'm playing. Have a great weekend, guys. Until next time.